The Turks. This faction at the start is meant to represent the Seljuks, and their faction leader is Jalal, known historically as... yes. Also known as Malik-Shah I as well, but we'll just call him Jello. In game he starts off with an apothecary as his retinue, which is fitting given he died of poisoning, which I believe this is a reference to. His son in game is called Mustafa. Mustafa. Jalal never did have a son named Mustafa. Also, funnily enough, he starts with a retinue food taster. Seems he fears he will go the way of his father. Welcome to Total War Profiled, a series that looks into the historical accuracy of Total War, and speaking of accuracy, I just unlocked this character in Raid Shadow Legends, who is clearly inspired from the Teutonic Order. Raid Shadow Legends, today's sponsor, is a free-to-play mobile game that is also available on PC. However, despite it going for a dark fantasy theme, there's also many historical references here as well, which I do like to see. You can see here the Teutonic Knight, known as a Crusader. We successfully slaughter our way through the first few waves, but then I meet my first boss fight. To bring him down, I have to use many of my special abilities, such as the Crusader being able to bring an ally with him to perform a double strike. This is a reference to the many pockets of Crusading armies often having to work together to take out the greater threat. The daily awards program lasts for 100 days, and each day you can claim free rewards from energy refills, silver, gems and shards, and a free barbarian legendary champion, Skyle of Drake. I think it's great that Raid continues to sponsor YouTubers, especially considering the current climate, so big thank you to them. If you are new, you will get 100,000 silver, 50 gems, 1 energy refill, and a free champion, the Adjudicator. This can be found in your inbox and only lasts 30 days, so there's really no better time. Link in the description. Egypt in-game is meant to represent the Fatamid Caliphate and the Ayyubids at the same time. In-game, the faction leader is Sultan al-Zahir and is 60 years old. Historically, he is based off Ali az-Zahir, who actually died at the age of 30, over 40 years before the start date, and he was also not Sultan but the Caliph instead, although it is clear that this guy is based off that historical character. This guy came to the throne once his father mysteriously disappeared. His eldest son is the man who took over from him, Al-Mustansir, again accurate in the game despite the incorrect age. The second son in game is Mubarak, who is inaccurate. However, at the time of the game's release, there was a Mubarak as president of modern Egypt. Maybe it was a small Easter egg to him, maybe not. It's always difficult to tell. Mustansir has a son in game named Nasser, and Mubarak has a son in game named Musa. Mustansir, historically, had one son named Nizar al-Mustafa and another one named Al-Mustali. There is similarity with the names, and I doubt it would be a coincidence, so I will say they are accurate in some way. You have to bear in mind, with this series, we try and give the developers the benefit of the doubt wherever possible, because at the end of the day, their job is to make a good game, not a black and white documentary. The faction leader has with him the retinue librarian, and starts the game in Alexandria, which is a reference to the Great Library of Alexandria, despite it being burnt down at this stage. He also has the trait mathematician, and the trait good at maths. And similarly, Mubarak has a retinue and trait mathematical. This, I believe, may be a reference to the Islamic Golden Age, as the Turks also have similar intelligence-related traits. Time to discuss the unit roster. First, the Egyptians have access to the Kurdish javelinmen. This may be a reference to the Ayyubid dynasty descending from Kurdish origins, perhaps, or maybe they did often recruit the Kurds as mercenaries. Next we have the Nathun. It was not uncommon for soldiers to use these flammable weapons at the time to destroy siege equipment. However, this was commonly used in many places, not just the Middle East. Many Muslim armies at the time had groups of Nafatin, or fire archers, and often used them on ships. Overall though, I could not find any reference to exactly what we see in the game being tied to the Islamic nations of the Turks and the Egyptians. Next, there's the Tabad Ariya. The term seems to come from both Tabar, which is the axe that they are holding, and possibly the Ruzia, which was a martial art used mostly during the height of Islam. And last but not least, the Mamluks, which for Medieval 2's timeline were slave soldiers from non-Muslim origins. Mamluk in-game is used as a filler term to help with the naming of some units, such as how the Turkish roster uses the word Janissary, or like how the game in general uses the term militia. Like, you got militia archers, you got militia spears, you have Mamluk archers, Mamluk spears, like that. Let's move on now to the Turks roster. They have Azabs as low tier units, which historically were peasant militia. Turkomans appear in game as a missile cav unit. Historically, they were a nomadic Turkish people who roamed around Anatolia. Now, lastly, we have the Kapukalu, which in game are described as bodyguards. I could not find any historical information to confirm this. Closest I could get was that the term in Xhosa language translates to grandpa. Anyway, that is all for the Turks and the Egyptians from Medieval 2 Total War. Despite the names being simplified, they are overall not that bad. The royal family clearly has a lot of research there, despite some inaccuracies, due to them trying to improve the gameplay, which we got to completely understand when looking at this. The unit roster is also accurate in comparison to the other titles and factions out there. Overall, both of these factions I would say 3 stars out of 5 for their accuracy, putting them as an average faction overall. Thanks again to the sponsor, I do really appreciate it. They really are helping out the scene given how many other advertisers are backing down lately due to the unfortunate lockdown that we're currently in. So yeah, massive thank you to them. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe and share with anyone you think would be interested. We're about 20 episodes into the Total War Profiled series now, and it is still going strong. Hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.